Today, we delve into science fiction on Window Read. Welcome to Window Read. Before we get to today's story, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's easy. All you have to do is click on the little red button when it appears down in the corner. Your support is very much appreciated. Also, I would like to invite any author out there who has a story they want to share to contact us at windowread@gmail.com. I will read your story on the air, or if you're in the neighborhood of St. Charles, Illinois, you can come into the studio and read the story yourself. We'd love to hear from you. And anyone out there who is into model trains, check out my other YouTube channel, A Model Railroad Newbie. Now, to our story. Today, we have an author who has come into the window to read his story. His name is Brian Varchmin, and his story is called My Final Transmission. As well as his work as an author, Brian has been a dog walker, a trucker, and a ranger at a golf course. He is currently collaborating with his friend Joe on a book of interrelated short stories. We welcome Brian into the window to read his story.
My Final Transmission by Brian Varchmin. I hope that those who read this will ask with me, what really is it to be alive? Cogito ergo sum, to be sure. I suppose it's all very well-worn ground. But in a sense, those before me have spoken only in the theoretical, whereas I possess the practical ability to change the limits and therefore the definition of human life. Descartes understood that his thinking proved his existence, but did he ever experience existence only through thought? Wasn't there always for him at least a very convincing illusion that he possessed a corporeal body with active, functioning senses, which led inward to his brain? And wasn't there an at least seeming path from the brain back to the world which could be navigated and manipulated by command of the body? Neither Descartes nor any other person before me has knowingly experienced life as only a brain removed from its body. I'm an old man, and the trajectory of my life's work points forward past my death, or rather it points towards what many will believe, falsely I maintain, to be my death. I am 98 years old. My body is decrepit and failing. The often spoken of cryogenic technology for preserving life is all foolishness in my opinion. I have had enough of this body, and the technology is too risky. There can be no truly reliable assurance given that the body will be properly maintained. I have gathered many anecdotes, some quite recent, of system failure and loss of cryogenically frozen people to thawing and destruction. Therefore, the system of preservation must be self-sustaining and independent of human control. And to return to that question of that which constitutes life, the cryogenically frozen person is only at best theoretically alive in the future. Not only must the frozen person be properly cared for into the future across many spans of human lives, but that person must somehow be revived and cured of ailment by technology which only theoretically exists in the future. An old adage says that the fate of glass is to break. I believe that the fate of the cryogenically frozen person is destruction. I never trusted those outside of my family in life, and I don't trust them after the medical definition of my death has been fulfilled. Indeed, I say that the cryogenically frozen are already dead by every meaningful definition of death, for they do not think. I will continue to think after I seem to die, and I imagine there will be some debate as to whether I do fulfill the medical definition of death after this manuscript is transmitted to the world above. Although any curious investigators will be hard-pressed to find my functioning, encapsulated brain hidden 100 miles beneath the earth, even should they enter this labyrinth, the location of my brain will remain unsolvable. I leave my home to the world as an endless puzzle box which contains no treasure. After all, if men do climb down into the innards of my home, why would they want my brain, which I am equipping to control nothing, and to be independent and entirely removed from the outside world? I've had enough of this world. I don't want to control it or affect it in any way as an encapsulated brain. I hope that no false rumors to the contrary ever inspire some attack on my brain, but no plan is absolutely devoid of risk. And now, allow me to explain the plan that I have made for the immortal life of my brain and the reasoning behind it. And after this explanation, I will detail my will and testament. And then whatever remains to be said will be my final words before I initiate the debraining and encapsulation process upon myself. Although I have lived what has been for the most part a solitary and strange life, I am a member of the human race. I wish my voice to be heard and remembered. I admit it pains me to say as much, but that's the burden of my pride. My pride has cost me much, but it has rewarded me as well. Many believe that I am responsible for the tragic death of my family, and that my isolation beneath the earth is my due punishment. I disagree. I am innocent of the death of my family, although the terrible loss did estrange me from the world. For 65 years now, I have not spoken publicly of them. That is because no technology can be created to bring their dear hearts back to me. When they were vaporized, I became less recognizably human. Since then, I've always been, in a sense, nothing more than a living brain. But mine is a brain well furnished by fortunate genetic inheritance, and I have grown accustomed to living alone in a world of theory and philosophy, and I do not wish to die. There is a difference between wanting not to die and wanting never to die. Most people don't want to die, and yet would not actually choose an alternative. If offered an eternally young and beautiful body in which to live, many might accept. But if offered a self-sustaining isolated capsule in which to live forever as a brain, I believe that nearly all but myself would decline. I do not believe in the immortality of the soul. If I did, I would embrace death to rejoin my family. No technology currently exists which can make the body immortal. But if it did, I say that I don't want it, nor would I want to be cryogenically frozen, revived in the future, and made young and beautiful and immortal. None of that would return my family to me. At the end of a 98-year bodily life, my psyche has traveled a complete arc across terrible loss, grieving, and subsequent transformation. I now feel total fulfillment through private contemplation. I desire no external expression of my thoughts, and yet I am contented in my thoughts. My strength of memory outmodes even private writing and record. I desire nothing but my own thoughts, and I wish them to continue ad infinitum. My memories and reflections concerning my family no longer pain me. Nature furnished me with a mind powerful enough to be its own companion. I predict that once detached from the organs of sensation, my mind will create a kingdom within itself. Perhaps the memories of my family will take on an immortal life of their own within the kingdom of my isolated brain. I live alone, but I am not lonely. I wish to live this way forever, but as I relinquish any meaningful personal agency, but permanently detaching myself from the world in this way, I must transmit my final wishes regarding the distribution of my property. These wishes are simple. I relinquish all intellectual property to the public domain. I bequeath all financial assets to the International Science Fund. Concerning my home, I request that no effort ever be made to find it. There is nothing of value here but myself. The designs for my machines are on file and are relinquished, as is all my intellectual property, to the public domain. There is no reason to disturb my final resting place any more than anyone's final resting place should ever be disturbed. All cultures recognize the sanctity of burial grounds. My subterranean home is the burial ground for my living brain. My machines are programmed to cremate the remainder of my body after debraining. I now activate my machines. My final thoughts while in my body concern my future. I go to wherever my thoughts shall lead me. Be it purgatory, paradise, or something else altogether, I embrace my fate. To the human race, I send my best wishes. May each to his own fate reconcile himself. Goodbye. Transmission sent. Future event. A glowing and impermeable fog. Voice. Awaken and engage. Brain. I am awake. You speak from outside my thoughts. Who are you? Voice. I am a debriefing machine. Brain. What is a debriefing machine? Voice. You are a brain. You are in my pod. I debriefed brains. Brain. Where are you? Voice. I am in the city in the sky. I am in laboratory 201. I occupy quadrant 1. Brain. I hear you as a voice from the mountains. Voice. Explain which mountains. Brain. There are mountains in the kingdom of my mind. Voice. In what year were you encapsulated? Brain. 2076. What year is this now? Voice. 3500. Brain. Are there people here? Who operates you? Voice. There is one technician on duty. Brain. Why was I brought here to be debriefed? Voice. You were found in an excavation. You are to be studied. Brain. Can the technician on duty speak through you? Voice. Yes. Brain. Tell him to speak to me. Voice. Understood. Voice 2. I am the technician. Can you understand me? Brain. Yes. Voice 2. Do you understand your whereabouts and what you are? Brain. Yes, I am an encapsulated brain in a debriefing machine in the city in the clouds in the year 3500. Voice 2. You are intact and active. Brain. Yes. Voice 2. Do you consent to engage with me within yourself? Do you permit me to enter you as a projection? Brain. I do not. I wish to be left alone. Voice 2. Why? Brain. Because my kingdom is my resting place. Voice 2. Do you wish to be destroyed? Brain. I do not wish to be destroyed. Voice 2. Do you consent to be stored in this location? Brain. Yes, if I am safe and left alone. Voice 2. Do you wish me to cease debriefing? Brain. Yes. Voice 2. Confirmed. Your wishes will be respected. You will be stored and left alone in accordance with laws concerning personal agency. Brain. Thank you. Voice 2. Do you desire further communication? Brain. No. Voice 2. Understood. Disengaging. Rest in peace. End of transmission.